Hi everybody, this is Zach from MYSHIRE FARM. I'm going to get set up here. We are doing our live Q&A every week. If you can hear me, if you could comment, let me know that you can hear me. I would greatly appreciate it before I get started. I'm going to pull everything up here. So again, I will start as soon as one of you guys let me know that you can hear me. And then we will get started. I do have an egg availability update this week, so that's pretty exciting. Let's see. Can hear you. All right, wonderful. So my throat's been kind of dry today, so I'm gonna have to drink a little bit more. So welcome everybody. Thank you for showing up. This is our live Q&A every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live on our YouTube channel. We try to help you guys out with any questions and try to help you answer things or figure things out to help you on your journey with Coturnix quail. At the very beginning of every live Q&A, we do a egg availability update, letting you know if we're putting anything on the website this week, which we are. And a couple things that we do that's kind of fun is one, if you want to mention where you're from, you know, you can say hi from wherever. I always do a shout out from wherever you're from. That's always a lot of fun. And if you hatched any eggs this week, I've got my handy notebook here and I write that down, and it's always fun to see how everybody's hatching out. So that's kind of what we do here. The egg availability update is Jumbo Wilds and Jumbo White Wing Pharaohs will be back on the website Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Jumbo Wilds and Jumbo White Wings will be back on the website. The Jumbo Egyptians and the Sex Links might, it's gonna be really close. So if they're not on, they'll be on next week, but they might be on the same time. So that is the egg availability update. We did not do any giveaways this week. I took a break from that with everything going on around here. And I think that's all the announcements. Oh, you know what? I still didn't get a little board behind me. Dear God, I really got to put that on my to-do list. I'm going to write that down. Board. All right, I did do my schedule for this coming up week, and I do have an entire, well, I have a half a day scheduled out to just do YouTube videos, so I'm pretty excited about that as well. We did start our auctions on our Facebook page. I think it's MYSHIRE Farm Quail Egg Auctions, I think it's called. We started that on Friday. We had a ton of fun Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had a lot of fun with that. Auctioned off a bunch of our eggs, including some jumbos, which was kind of nice for the auctioners. So that was kind of fun. And I think that is it. So we will get into your questions and answers. Again, I do have a surprise for you once we hit 100 likes. So hit that like button and support our channel so that I can give you the surprise. And the surprise is about breeding, a breeding program, something that I'm going to try. I'm going to give you the heads up on. We've kind of done it in the past, but this time I'm actually going to be much more strict with it, and I've got the space to do it now and things like that. So make sure you hit that like button because I think it's kind of interesting. But let's move forward. So Jay Fox Hunter says, hi from Cumberland City, Tennessee. Love your show. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. You can hear Patrick from Sparta, Missouri. Welcome. Verna from Franklin, Ohio. Welcome. Love and Life at Home from Washington State. Welcome. Glad you're here. Susie, hi Zach. Hope we have a better go tonight than last week. I think we will. I have updated a couple things on my phone. I have upgraded the microphone, but my throat is really dry tonight. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully it goes better. Susie from Lakeland, Florida, welcome. Kiki's in the house, welcome. You are in Texas, I know that. Oh, yep, Houston, Texas. David Gilmore from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Kasumi Rose from Western Tennessee, welcome. Denver, thanks for all the help butchering some quail coming from Colorado, welcome. Tanya from Southern Indiana. Maria, hello from Bakersfield, California, waiting on my jumbo to hatch today or tomorrow. Very excited. That's wonderful. Good luck, and hopefully you'll be able to join us next Sunday and let us know how the hatch did. David says, Zach, do you ship eggs in October, November, and December? We do. Actually, it's the second season. Obviously, there's 4 seasons in here. It's our second season with the highest hatch rate. So that's kind of weird. It's been like that for 3 years in a row, which is when I started to write everything down. So I don't. That's all I got. Let's see. Susie says, "Sweet Jumbo Wilds, yay!" Stacy Taffer says, "Hey everyone from Chesterfield, Virginia, welcome." Grandpa Podge, love the name, from St. Anthony, Idaho, welcome. Jason from Leeton, Pennsylvania. I don't know if I said that right. It's definitely Pennsylvania though. Rich Ross from Auburn, Michigan, welcome. Danny Gunn 34, hello Zach from Swanton, Ohio. Never heard of that place. Welcome. Verna says lots of laughs too, Zach. I believe that was the auction site that she was talking about. Tanya says 31 out of 50 hatch jumbo mix, approximately 10 whites, 11 wilds, 5 Egyptians, and 5 white wings. I think I sent 60. I know I sent more whites and wilds than I did anything else, but not bad. 31 out of 50, I'll take that. 31 out of 50 jumbo mix. That is wonderful. Congratulations. Lori Robbins says, my granddaughter Raven ordered pansy fees, got 30, hatched 29. She also got pearls, got 30, hatched 25. That is wonderful. Congratulations to you and your granddaughter. Let's see. 25. Got lost. There we go. I'm just going to put PF. And then her. That is wonderful. Can't beat that. Congratulations. Bethane McIntyre? I think so. From Athens, Georgia, welcome. Don Cook, never mind. Retail Homestead says, have you ever heard of the Survival Podcast? I think you'd be an awesome guest for it. Thanks for all you do. Do you truly are a great help to all those of us in the self-sufficient community? Thank you very much for the kind words. Survival Podcast. There's a couple of them that I am subscribed to, but I don't know which one you're talking about. I mean, I guess it could be called the Survival Podcast. Podcast. No, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I can check that out. I'll write it down. I would love for survival podcasts and kind of like the backyard kind of thing, making your own stuff. I'd love for them to get more into, the quail world or things like that. Other self-sufficient ways of doing things. I'd love to do stuff like that. Megan says hi from San Diego. Welcome. Faye from Berkeley, California. Welcome. Let's see. Buffering often. Hopefully that is getting fixed. Jay from southeastern Ontario, Canada. Welcome. Buster's in Oklahoma. Let's see. Grandpa Podge says, question. At what age is usual to butcher jumbo wilds? When we started, we butchered jumbos at 10 weeks because that's their full maturity. Once we started doing a bunch of research, we found out that they gain most of their weight at age 8 weeks. And between 8 and 10 weeks, they still grow, and they still grow enough, but not enough for the cost. So we butchered 8 weeks for the jumbos. It's whatever you think. There's some times where they've gotten massive quick, and I needed the cage space, and we've butchered at 6 weeks. It really depends, but typically I try to keep them till they're 8 weeks old. It all depends on what's going on, and usually it's not. I mean, there's jumbos in it, but it's usually just a mix of males. Usually non-feather sexable males is usually what we butcher at 8 weeks. If I hatch out a ton of jumbos, I'm usually keeping them to breed. Patrick says, when you hatch out Italians and pearls, when can you tell them apart? What am I doing? I'm sorry, I keep hitting some buttons and everything keeps showing up. I'm sorry. All right, so Patrick says, when you hatch out Italians and pearls, when can you tell them apart? Oh, well, when you hatch out white quail, such as pearls, they're gonna be yellow when they hatch. So with Italians, usually about a week to a week and a half is when you'll be able to tell a big difference. Good question. Danny Gun 34 says, yesterday was day 15. I put 120 of them in the incubator. On the 4th, I ordered 110. I candled yesterday morning, which is day 15. I had 75 good ones and 45 bad ones. That seems a little high. Seems a little high, but keep me posted. Kurt Stoner says, hi, Zach. Kurt and Morgan watching from Central Oklahoma. Welcome. Don says, hello, everyone. Eagletown, Oklahoma. Hatched 35 out of 50 scarlets. Thanks for the help. Wonderful. Oh, you know what? I already wrote that down. I talked to you a little bit ago. I saw that you text back, Don, but I did not get a chance to get to it. We were eating, and then I had to get ready for this, and then I had to up. Anyways, I haven't gotten to texts. Let's see. Adrian says, hi from North Texas. I just hatched 20 out of 30, ordered 25, variety choice from MYSHIRE. I'm loving all the different colors. That is wonderful. I got that down. Congratulations. Hi from Albany, New York. I hope things are going better for you this week. They are about the same, but all you can do is keep moving on, right? Boxcar Willie says hello from I got excited because I saw all the sentence and I messed up. Hello from some hillbillies in Kentucky. Welcome. Yet says, question, how do I avoid getting Cheeto dust on my fingers when enjoying... Yeah, I don't know. T-Mac says, hello, Zach from Perth, Australia. Very cool. Welcome. Yay, we made it to a live. I have emailed you. That is wonderful. I think I'm having issues with my emails. I will, I've got someone helping me out with a bunch of internet stuff tomorrow. If you don't hear from me by tomorrow night, please email me again. I don't know what was going on, but hopefully, if I don't email you by tomorrow, then please email again. Danny Gun 34 says, they started hatching today, which is day 16. Isn't that early? I have about 15 hatched so far. They are jumbo wilds. Day 16 is, nah, it's all right. Only 15 of them hatched. You're probably right on track. Maybe a little high on the humidity, but not a problem. Grandpa Podge says, what do you do to keep water lines clean and free of algae and other buildup? Very good question. So we typically clean our water lines out. We've got two separate water lines, one that we don't use unless we're cleaning the other out. And we typically clean that out about every 3 to 6 months. And then we'll use the other hose, and then, you know, so every 6 months they kind of get changed. But that's typically what we do. Very good question. Very important question, actually. Julio says hello from Petaluma, California. I think I said that right. Colton says, hey, Zach from Northwest Louisiana, welcome. No buffering problems, wonderful. LDS Prepper says hello from Idaho Falls, Idaho, welcome. Let's see, hi, Zach from California. One, we get some 17-gram eggs that usually have 2 yolks. Will those hatch out twin chicks if incubated? I don't have enough information. I mean, it could. Typically, double yolkers don't hatch. typically, it could be a bunch of different things. One could hatch, two could hatch, none of them hatch. Typically, even putting double yolkers in, they usually don't, they usually fail to thrive, is usually the case. Are any of the colors more friendly than others? No, not really. No, not really. I mean, you can get some jerks every once in a while, but we really breed out aggression pretty quickly. Lenora says, hi from the Bronx. Are there any health issues associated with raising quail? Wow, I butchered that question. I'm very sorry. Let's start again. Hi from the Bronx. Are there any health issues associated with raising quail indoors? I use an air purifier in the extra room that I keep the quail in. Thank you. You know, there's really not. I mean, there can be health issues with anything, but if they're kept off the floor and they're only with other quail, you really don't get that many issues. Knock on wood, we really haven't had any disturbing, scary. We've never had any diseases. We've made major mistakes with things, but it's usually environmental. I would say the biggest mistake we ever made was during the winter. So here's a tip for you. Yeah, I'm just gonna go on a rant, I don't care. So here's a tip for you. One, you're gonna, oh dear God, my 8-year-old girl is trying to carry a 50-pound bag of feed. Hold on. Honey, what are you doing? I see it. What is this? What are you doing now?
One more?
Oh, dear God. I know. You're strong. It's all right. Oh, sorry everyone. I apologize. That bag was bigger than her. Unfortunately, I don't remember what I was talking about. I'm gonna read the question again, maybe I'll remember. Are the health issues? Oh, health issues, yeah. So we haven't had any, knock on wood, any health issues as far as diseases or anything like that. I can never say that word. I know everyone makes fun of me all the time for not being able to say the word, but the coccidiosis, something, whatever it is. I don't know why some words are just so hard for me. Anyways, we haven't had that in quail. We have had it in chickens because they're filthy little animals, but we've never had any issues with quail. We have had environmental issues. Honestly, I would say 9 times out of 10, usually it's an environmental issue. So for example, the biggest failure we ever had with quail was, I don't know, a while ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I can't remember. But we had brooders in the other barn, and you know, spring, summer, and fall, you know, we have the heat or the light on, and we have the food, and we have the water, and blah, blah, blah. Well, all of a sudden, they just started all dying during the winter, and we were like, what is going on? So we called the MPIP guy, and the MPIP guy came out and tested things, and they were like, there's nothing wrong with your quail. I'm like, well, like 80% of them are dying in the brooder. So we made all new brooders, and we were like, well, maybe there's something wrong with brooders. Still kept happening. I'm like, oh my God, we gotta fix this. So then we called him back, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna bring my boss. And we were like, that'd be great, I'm so sorry. They're like, no, I wanna find out what's going on. So they came out, and they're like, they dissected a couple. They asked us to keep some, and they dissected, and they're like, yeah, they're dehydrated. We're like, what? And they're like, yeah, they're like, there's no water at all. And I'm like, How's that possible? Well, during the winter, it gets colder, right? And so the water has to be really, really close to the heat source because temperature changes dramatically from the heat source even 3 feet away, especially when they're this big. So we move the water right next to the food, right in front of the heat source for the first 5 days. Didn't lose one. We were like, we've lost hundreds of quail. And all it was is because we had the water too far away, and it was literally 3 feet from the heat source. Like it wasn't anything. So we've made a lot of mistakes like that. Water issues have been a big problem in the past. Luckily, we haven't had any of those for a while. A little superstitious. But as far as health issues go, I saw a lot of questions on the contest we did before about diseases and things like that. If you're not keeping them with other animals and they're off the ground, there's really not a lot of diseases that they'll catch, is my 2 cents on it. So, moving on, and I apologize for leaving. I'm sure that was super annoying for everybody. LDS Prepper says, Zach, do you know why some people would recommend putting the pointy end of the egg up in the incubator? No, but that is a horrible idea. I don't know why you would... No, you don't want to do that. Don't do that. I don't recommend that. I mean, I guess you can do what you want to do. I gotta block someone. Hold, please. I don't know how. Oh, yep. Got it. There we go. Maria said, oh, wait, did I answer your question? No, pointy, you want to put them pointy side down because the air sac is at the top. And you don't want the air sac to go to the pointy side. You want it to be the larger round side. So no, I have no idea why people would recommend that. Marie says, hi from Northwest Indiana. Is the youth contest still going, or was this old? I caught another live but didn't catch this date. It is still going on. We do it monthly. We did pick a winner. We announce it on the first Sunday of every month on our live Q&A at the very beginning. And so yeah, you can still email us, and we do pick a winner at the beginning of every month. Christopher says, I agree you would make a great guest on the Survival Podcast. The podcast is what got me started on quail. Oh, that's great. Very cool. I did write that down. I'll check that out. I didn't put podcast, and then by the time this is over, I would forget. Kiki says, do you ship out on Saturdays? We do. I'm going to need to set eggs on October 13th for a BYC hatch along. Monday's ship may not make it to me in time. Yeah, we do ship Saturdays. We ship 4 days a week. We ship Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. Saturdays, they still travel Saturday and Sunday. They usually get there on Monday, so it's still 2-day shipping. Thursday and Friday are the only days that we don't ship because usually they get caught up on Saturdays and don't get delivered until Monday. But yeah, we do ship 4 days a week, and Saturday is one of them. Frank says, I have hatching time cages with feed troughs. Reasonable to sprinkle oyster shell dust on top of feed. Getting shellless eggs. If you're getting shellless eggs, it is a calcium issue, most likely. And oyster shells would help. So yeah, you could do that. I would take a look at your feed and make sure that the feed is sufficient. For layers, you want somewhere around 3.5% calcium, around 15 to 18% protein. I know that people disagree with me on that, but you don't, it's kind of like me. You grow, and then you get to a limit, and then you just start growing this way rather than this way kind of thing. And that's not healthy for the quail because, well, they're this big. So the protein at a certain age needs to kind of die off. So I recommend 15 to 18% protein and 3.5 to 4% calcium, and that should give you very good eggs and very healthy quail. Tanya says, this was my first hatch in the new incubators. Some were cracked by the turner and still tweaking temp and humidity, but 31 all hatched in 24 hours, so I was happy. That's great. Some were cracked by the turner. You know, I know that's annoying, but that's super satisfying knowing that they're big eggs. I love hearing that. I'm sorry. Let's see. Marie says, question. Yesterday I picked up my quail and it started, I'm assuming it means drooling. What does that mean? Could be a lot of things. Usually stress, I would assume. Usually stress. If you just picked him up, I would assume stress. Hello, Mike from Dawsonville, Georgia. Hatching update, 22 out of 25 oh dear God, I gotta write it down. Okay, 22 out of 25 jumbo white wings. I will accept those numbers, thank you very much. 21 out of 25 SSC. I will still accept. 20 out of 25 German pastel. Still all right with me. 24 out of 25 pansy fee. I love that number. 41 out of 50 rare mix. I will take all of those. Thank you so much, Zach. Absolutely great service. We'll do it again soon. Absolutely wonderful. I knew you had a pretty big hatch that we were shipping you. I think we had a specific ship date that you needed. And I'm super happy with the results. 22 out of 25 white wings, 21 out of 25 SSCs, 20 out of 25 German pastels, 24 out of 25 pansy fees, and 41 out of 50 rare mix. That is wonderful. I love it. Congratulations, Mike. Jay Joseph from the Caribbean, welcome. Val's Homestead is here from the UK, welcome. Kiki says he scared it or you squeezed the wrong spot too hard. Yeah, it's usually stress induced, such as handling or moving or stuff like that. I found some birds scalped to the skull, not just feathers. Have you seen aggression issues this bad, or could it be a cage crowding issue? It could be both. I would fix the crowding issue first, and then start looking for aggressors. Yeah, I mean, it could happen sometimes. You need to get rid of the quail immediately so that you don't keep breeding that into the quail. But yeah, it unfortunately happens sometimes. Every species has its jerks. So, Jacob says, hello from Tennessee. Everyone says to remove aggressive from breeding programs. Is there evidence that it's passed down genetically, or is it just precaution? I don't know of actual evidence, but it's a precaution, and I do believe that there is some genetics behind it, and it doesn't really hurt anything. And as far as the breeding program goes, it helps, because if they're that aggressive, so for example, I've got like 50 hens in each cage. If I've got a super aggressive male, most likely those males are not performing like they should. Which means my fertility could drop because of that one male. So there's multiple reasons why you would want to do that, but very good question. Again, remember, hit the like button, because when we get to 100 likes, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks about the breeding program that we're going to start doing for one of our quail, which I'm very excited about. EA says, how many generations can we hatch from the eggs you shipped? As many as you would like. I would say 3 generations and then introduce something different. So for example, let's say you hatched out jumbos and scarlets, and you have them in 2 separate cages. You breed the scarlets together, you put those babies together, you get eggs from them, you breed those babies together, you do it 3 times. After that, throw males into the other scarlet cage, and then breed those together, and then you're getting different blood, and then you can keep going. So technically, whatever you got, if you have multiple cages, then you could always keep going as long as you've got a good breeding program. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. If it didn't, help ask. ask specifically and I can try to help more, but I hope that made sense. Verna's not talking to me. Let's see, Jessica M says, good evening. Hello. My jumbo white wings have hatched. Great, congratulations. I ordered 25 and received 30. I have had 21 hatch, but one died. Not bad at all, congratulations. One has died. I have 6 more in the incubator that are pipped. I'll text the final number to you. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm actually going to scratch that out then, just in case you get 6 more to hatch. That would be awesome. Congratulations and good luck. Colton Frizzle says the auction page was a blast yesterday. That is wonderful. Thank you for participating and enjoying it and having fun with everybody. Excited to get my mystery eggs. Can't wait to see what all I'll get. I do have something specific planned, so I'm excited about that, and I wish you the best of luck. Jessica M says, so far it looks great. I was wondering if I can send you some pictures, though, because I'm getting chicks I would expect with my order. Sure, that's not a problem. My number is 937-760-7282. Typically, you really don't want to send me pictures until about day 5, because it's, as far as pictures go, it's really hard to tell. But after day 5, you can feel free to send them to me. Jacob says, box fan with AC filters on the back are great for the air filtration in quail rooms. Very true, very true. Mike from Dawsonville, add on to the update, only 2 eggs out of 179. I broke one and ate it first day I got them. Did not develop. Everything else was 100% fertile. People don't trust store-bought incubators. There you go. James Burkett says, hi, Zach from Florida. Welcome. My birds are 2 weeks today. Hatched 77 out of 105. Still can't tell hens from roos. How much longer? Thanks. Not a problem. Let's see. Typically, I mean, I don't know what you ordered. 1, James Burkett, did you order from us? 2, what did you order? And 3, if they're feather sexable, you can start sexing them out at 3 weeks old. If they're not feather sexable, then you would have to vent sex between 6 and 8 weeks. But if you give me a little bit more information, I can definitely help you out a little bit more. Holly from Bridgeport, New York, welcome. Used 3 different incubators, and they were all 3 to 5 degrees off humidity and temp. Got a thermometer inside and go by that. There you go. Chris from Tampa here, welcome. A lot of Floridians? Floridians? Is that a word? Floridians? I'm going to use it. A lot of Floridians tonight. Chris from Tampa here, 25 panda eggs from MYSHIRE, arrived timely and clean, 15 hatched, 60%. Looks like only 415 are panda though. That sucks, Zach. I will send pics in a day or 2, thank you. Wonderful, keep me posted on that. Let's see, I do believe they'll be at least 5 or 6 days old by the time you send the pics. So yeah, that would work out perfect. When is your best ship month for hatch rate? Oh, I don't have that information in front of me, but I believe it was March. I believe it's March. It's kind of weird. So typically, I was expecting our ship rate to kind of go like this. You know, oh, sorry, kind of like this. Like, you know, whether it's super hot or super cold or whatever, I was expecting to see a dip. There's really not a dip. So like, I think it was March. I'm pretty sure February was like 71. I think it was like 71%. And then we hit like a 74 or 75 in March. Could have been April. Can't remember. But typically we range anywhere from the year between 71 and 75% on the average hatch rate for the year, or for the month. And last year I think we ended with a 72% ship rate for the year. This year we're sitting at 73 up to last Saturday, I think is when I went through it. So there's not really a spike at all. It's more of like a little bump, you know? I don't know why I said all that. Just kind of interesting to me. Kelsey says, hi from Arizona. We have 12 hens, 10 weeks old. Only 1 egg a day from all birds. Bird square foot is correct. Have fresh water and feeding 3% calcium and 20% protein. Could it be light or high heat issues over 100%, 100 degrees? It could be. I would probably need a little bit more information. If you're still getting up to the 100 degrees part and they're only 10 weeks old, that's probably an issue. Are they inside or outside if you're still on, Kelsey? That could play a factor. What's your male to female ratio? That could play a factor. And I would try to bump your calcium up to 3.5%. That would not have anything to do with only one of the hens laying right now, but it will have a factor in the future as far as the egg quality goes. But if you can give me some more information, I can try to help you out a little bit more. Michael says, can you feed Caternix comfrey, which has 23 to 26 protein? I have never heard of that. You could if you wanted. I recommend a 27 to a 30% protein for the chick starter between 0 to 10 weeks or 0 to 8 weeks for standard, 0 to 10 weeks for jumbos. And then after that, I recommend a 15 to 18% protein and a 3.5% calcium is what I recommend. But I mean, whatever you want to use. Question, what age do you put roos with the hens to start breeding? Really depends on which kind. For the standards, the rares, the colors, I usually do about 8 weeks. For the jumbos, any jumbo, they don't go together until they're 10 weeks old because I have to weigh everything. Of course, if I'm working on a jumbo color, then they don't go together. If you're breeding for size, you don't want to put them together until they're 10 weeks old, is the easiest way to say it. But 8 weeks old, they're laying eggs, they're doing fine. You can put them together if you're not too worried about the weight. Received my order of jumbo wilds, hatched 135 out of 230. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Congratulations, 135 out of 230 jumbo wild. That's great, congratulations. TA says, first time viewer, hopefully I'm not boring the living crap out of you yet, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask that I can help you with Caternix quail. And if you want to let us know where you're from, we always have a lot of fun with that, sharing where everybody's from. And again, once we hit 100 likes, I will go into a quick tips and tricks for a breeding program that we're going to start, and we've kind of experimented with in the past. Jennifer A said, but welcome, TA. Jennifer A says, hi from Harrington, Maine. Welcome. We ended up getting a total of 73 out of 110 feather sexables. Super happy. Thank you. That is awesome. 73 out of 110 feather sexable. Not too bad at all. Congratulations. I noticed on the ones that were later in hatching, there was some curled toes. What causes curled toes? Late hatch, usually. It's usually because they formed and got too big in the egg. They didn't hatch out when they should have. Therefore, their feet kind of curled up to make more room, and it kind of sticks that way. Usually we call those immediately because they usually fail to thrive. But also a wry neck is what they call it, where they, they're born like this and then the more they grow is like this. Sometimes they thrive, sometimes they'll do okay, but that's usually due to not hatching on time as well. Michael says, I text you my order hatch rate. Oh. Okay, I marked the one because I wrote it down here, but if you already text me, I might have already written down, so I'll check that out. Thank you for letting me know, I appreciate it. Carolyn C says, hello from Parkersburg, West Virginia, welcome. Faye says, where did everything go? And we're back. I don't know what I'm doing. When preparing to butcher, Should feed and water be removed sometime before? If so, how long before? Thanks. Very good question. Usually we did 12 hours beforehand. Usually I would just not feed them the night before, and then I would turn their water off. Usually I would turn their water off the morning of, and then maybe 5 or 6 hours later. So I'm going to say 12 hours for food and 6 hours for water, but that's very fluent. I know people that send it for 24 hours. I don't like to not eat for 24 hours, so I don't do it, but I'm not being butchered and it could get gross. But it's not really like chickens. For chickens, we didn't feed and water for 24 hours because they're chickens. But with quail, 6 to 12 hours is plenty. If you have quail, you know how much they poop. So they go through their feed very quickly. And I just saw a message that said, finally here, and I'm talking about poop, so I apologize about that. That sucks. Let's see, Catman Don't 100 says, question, regarding fine powder and quail feed, your opinion on mixing and cooking and scrambled eggs, drying and then feeding in quail, both duck, chicken, and quail eggs extras. Your opinion on mixing and cooking and scrambled eggs, dyeing. I know people do it. I don't have a lot of experience with it. We pretty much stick to the routine that we've got, so we really don't do stuff like that, mainly because I've got way too many. But if anybody has questions or answers about that or has experience with that, feel free to share. But I know people do it and they love it, so I don't see a problem with it, but I don't have enough experience to give you a lot of information on it, unfortunately. Holly says, we had 17 out of 25 golds hatch, and the special order for my son is in the incubator. Very pretty excited. We're pretty excited. That is wonderful. Congratulations. I will write that down. A lot of hatch rates this week. That is wonderful. And all of them pretty good. I don't know if... Dan, if you're still on, I don't know if you're still on, but I will get you your text. I know you had one good, one bad. We'll look into that. And I know you had some questions, so I will look into that. But other than that, everything's going great as far as the hatch rates go for this week. There's no like button on my iPhone live feed. I don't know what that means, but I'm sorry. Jennifer A says, if you breed different feather sexable birds, will the offspring be feather sexable as well? Usually, really depends on the genes and what they were with before. Everything's just, I hate that there's just not really a lot of black and white. There's a lot of gray, because I want to say yes, but if you've got a mixed pen and you hatch out a bunch of birds and you take the ones that are feather sexable out of that hatch and breed them together, they're not going to breed true because they came from a mixed cage, so not necessarily. But if they've been bred with the same feather sexable for a while, then yes, they would kind of be more fun colors, but most of them will be feather sexable. What is hatch rate percentage for non-shipped eggs of jumbo wilds? What is hatch rate percentage for non-shipped eggs for jumbo wilds? I don't really know what you mean. I'm sorry. We ship most of our eggs. Very few pickups. Well, I don't want to say that. We do a lot of deliveries, but it's more of mixes and things like that. As far as what we hatch out for jumbo wilds, it's usually around 85 to 87%, I believe, for our jumbo wilds. But I put the double yolkers in because I can't throw eggs away. I don't know what my problem is. I know it's taking space, but I've got the space, so. Frank says, not annoying at all. Impressive that your 8-year-old would lift a 50-pound bag herself. She was actually doing pretty good. And then Jenna came in and she grabbed the wrong feed. I still don't know what they're doing with that feed. I don't know why they took 2 bags. Frank says, when do you do auctions? I am planning on doing auctions every weekend on our Facebook page. Fridays, I think I'm gonna quit just because I've got so much stuff I've got to still do. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I'll definitely do auctions at some point. But yeah, on the weekends. God, I didn't, good, I didn't miss. From Texas, Phyllis Wells, welcome. Ruben says hello from California. Love the channel. Thanks for all the tips and advice. Last hatch was 98% hatching. That is wonderful. Congratulations. If you can let me know what you hatched out, I will be happy to write that down. We did get over 100, so I will give you the tips and tricks. I'm going to do 10 more comments, so I'm not super behind. Not that I ever keep track. I seem to have an equal mix of white and wild, but also quite a few that are gray, patternless, and or tuxedo. Not what I was expecting after watching your video on the jumbo white wings. That are gray, patternless, and or tuxedo. If they're day olds, you're really not going to be able to tell. Those, it's hard to say. Those tuxedos will probably be white wings. I don't know what you're talking about gray. I don't know what you mean by patternless either. Sorry. How many eggs are you on track to ship in 2020? No idea. Ship? As far as shipping goes, I don't know. If we do all of our orders, including our corporate accounts that we do deliveries for, I could probably figure that out. If you give me a second. Math is hard sometimes. There's 52 weeks in a year, right? Yeah. That's a rough estimate. A rough estimate is going to be, so we're going to sell somewhere around 600 and, I'm going to say 650 to 750,000 eggs. Somewhere around there. Be somewhere around there. I'm going to say 600 to 700,000 eggs this year. Marie says, we have rabbits and there are do's and don'ts for breeding certain colors together. Is there a chart or something to learn what colors go with what? Very good question. Not that I know of, not that's been approved or agreed upon, I guess I can say. But if you have specific questions, I can try to help. But as far as I know, there's really not anything you can't breed together off the top of my head. No, not really. Oh. All right, 5 more and then I'll give you the tips and tricks. All my birds have come free fresh from garden, chicken, ducks, turkeys, and quail. That's great. There you go. Well, that answers the question of that feed. Santhera Sam says, hi, Zach. I'm from California. Welcome. I bought 25 of their feather sexable eggs. I got 20 hatched, 4 autumn ambers, 2 fat fees, 2 pearls, and 12 Egyptians. Wonderful. That's great. Let's see, 20 out of 25 feather sexable. Wow, a lot of eggs ordered or hatched out this week. That is great. Not talking to me. Not talking to me. B. Arthur from Morocco. Really cool. Welcome. Gary from Franklin, North Carolina. Welcome. Modern Livestock and Agriculture Farming says hello. Betta says, finally here. What did I miss? Me ranting, pretty much. Not a lot. I don't withhold feed or water. Well, yeah, there you go. What's your brooder size and how many chicks do you keep in there for 4 weeks? We recommend 6 quail per square foot in the brooder, and then 3 to 3.5 quail per square foot in the cages is what we recommend. And Sue from Alberta, Canada, welcome. Betta does a happy smiley face? I don't know. I don't really do a lot of emojis. I don't know. I think she's laughing. I'm not too sure. And that's me, not you. I don't really use emojis. Eddie from Southwest Arkansas, welcome. I'm sure that's past 10. All right, so tips and tricks of the day for breeding program. So we've mentioned before that, you want to use the best of the best and blah, blah, blah. So what I'm actually doing is I'm trying something a little bit different. I've done this in the past, but just kind of quickly. And just for a short amount of time, have a little bit of research on it, but not a lot. So this is not completely set in stone yet, but we are gonna do major research on it. So in the future, I will have better statistics for you. But we are actually going to take a cage because we've been hatching out jumbo wilds for quite some time. And we're going to start weighing them at 8 weeks. We've weighed them in the past, 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks, just to see what they average and things like that. This year we decided just to weigh them twice, once at 4 weeks, once at 10 weeks. So what we're actually going to do, and I think it's a great idea, is we're going to weigh them at 8 weeks because I weighed some our last time putting jumbos into the cage, and I weighed some at 8 weeks because some of them just looked absolutely massive. I mean, I didn't pull them all out, but I just grabbed a few. And at 8 weeks, I pulled out like 4 or 5 of them immediately that were about 14, I think it was like 14.2 to 14.9 ounces at 8 weeks old. So what we do is we have a cutoff. The cutoff is 13 ounces at 10 weeks old. So if it's under 13 ounces, it does not go into the jumbo wild breeding cage, right? Because I want them to average around 14. Well, I've got a bunch of, 13, 13 and a half, 14s, 15s. I've even got a couple 16s in there, but they're all scattered throughout. Well, I scattered them throughout because I want some really, really huge mamas in each one of the cages. We're actually going to make a full cage of just 15 and above that are healthy. If they are not healthy, I don't care what size they are. I do care what size they are because it hurts my soul because we really check them out. We check, we do a lot of investigating before we put them into the cages. We check how they walk, we check how they look, we check their eyes, we check their beak, we check their feathers, we check on how they stand, does their legs and feet support their weight. We do a lot of stuff. But I'm going to take the healthy 15 and up quail and put them in a cage all by themselves. And then we're not going to offer those to the public anytime soon. But our goal is that we're going to make 2 or 3 cages of just 15 and ups. And that is going to be continuously incubated, and that is going to be continuously bred for new cages. So, for example, let's say we have 2 full colony cages of our 15 and up jumbos, including the males, and I hatch them out. Well, those 2 cages hopefully will give us much larger weights, and then that will replace one of the cages that we'll ship to you guys. So I'm really excited about it, but it made me start thinking that that's kind of what a lot of people could be doing. If you can separate the ones that you want to keep and the ones you don't, if you could have 2 separate cages, one cage being your ultimate breedings, ultimate breeders. All you're doing is incubating those eggs for new breeders, better colors, bigger quail, whatever the case may be. And then your other cages are for sell. Because eventually that's all going to line up and you're just going to continue to go and go and go. But I think a lot of people, I know at least 3 or 4 people this week have contacted me and said, you know, I keep selling all my eggs. I don't really know what to do because my quails are starting to slow down and now I don't know what to do. And that makes sense because you want the business to grow and you want to make as much as you can. And I get that. But if you just take even, let's say you have 50 quail. Let's say you have 50 hens, right? If you just take 10 hens away and say, you know what, these eggs are not for sale. We're just going to incubate them and we're just going to increase our flock. That's around, what, 55 to 65 eggs a week? And you can hold them off for a week to put them in. Well, if you're hatching out, we'll say 50 chicks a week, well, that's going to increase you pretty quickly, and you're only taking 10 out of the 50 you had. So long term, it's going to help a lot. But a lot of people have a lot of breeding program questions or how to do it, and that's a really smart, consistent idea. Is taking the best of your best, ideally your top 10%, and those are just for breeding. Make sure that you're switching those out and not breeding them to death or breeding until they're too old and they're not laying eggs and then you gotta, you know, do whatever. But that is my breeding tip for the day, is have a separate cage of just the best of the best, and then everything else can be for your sale. Hopefully that helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Jake says, I have 7 adult quail, 2 males. I also have 4 quail, 3 weeks old or so, 2 male and 2 girls. I want to let the older males into the wild and thought about placing younger ones in when they are ready. I have 7 adult quail, 2 males. Okay. If you have 7 adult quail and you have 2 males, that's giving you a 5-to-2 ratio, and your hens are probably going to get beat up pretty quickly. And that can affect a lot of stuff, such as production and lifespan and the looks of them and health and all kinds of stuff. So I definitely recommend a 5-to-1 ratio. And growing your males out to replace your older males is fine. Putting them into the wild is not the best idea. They're not going to survive. It would actually be more humane to cull than to throw them out in the wild, because they won't survive. Michael says hello from Panama. Welcome. Jay Joseph says, any word on international shipping? We're still looking at end of October so far. Haven't heard any different news. Michael, you need to close it. Oh, not talking to me. Ruben says, I had jumbo wilds. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Kasumi Rose says, the pearl I bought and hatched earlier this year have eggs in their incubator for the first time. I'm super curious how it's going to go. That is great and super exciting. I wish you the best of luck. EA says, if one can't find store-bought feed, what do you suggest the best to feed the quails? There's stuff you can feed them, but I really don't have a lot of experience. We've always worked with feed mills. We've never bought from like Tractor Supply or online or anything, but you can do both of those. But I can't imagine that there's not a local feed store somewhere around you for stuff, and usually they'll have something, even a turkey feed will do, or a chicken feed will do, but usually they'll find a game bird feed for you and get it in if you inquire about it. I gotta get a drink, I'm sorry. I feel like I've been wasting a lot of your guys' time tonight just rambling on. I apologize. Oh, that feels so much better. Rick Ross says, Zach, are you allowing pickup at your farm yet? If not, do you plan to anytime soon? We are doing pickups at the farm, but it's more of like call when you get here and we'll bring it out to you. We're still not letting anybody into the quail barn, mainly because that's what I was asked to do from the MPIP people. Just because we ship all over the U.S. and the whole COVID thing is just not, it's not worth it. But he is testing us again in October, which is when I'll know more about the international shipping. And it looks as though that he's going to start allowing us to do that. He did contact us the other day and asked us to start buying some things if we wanted to do that. So we'll have that stuff for him when he gets here. And hopefully he'll just look at it and say, okay, good to go. But we're trying to be... oh crap, I just lost it. We're trying to get certified in I can't remember what it's called right now, but we're trying to get certified for something, which is why there's more precautions here. Not talking to me. Phyllis says math is hard. I hear that from my students. It's not that hard. I mean, adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing. One of my daughters is in calculus, and that's hard. Ronald says, hi from upstate New York, welcome. Brent says, how should I start out trying to sell eggs? Very good question, kind of general. Little hard to answer. Okay, so first of all, you want to know what you're doing first. So I know a lot of people that get quail and think that they're going to start a business like as soon as they hatch. There's going to be things that come up. My strong recommendation is to do a few hatches just for yourself. Eating eggs, butchering, you know, just self-consumption, things like that. Get used to it. Just a couple of hatches. Once that's done, write out a plan, because there's many different ways you can go. So it really depends on what you want to do. If you want to sell eating eggs, Craigslist is a great one. If you want to sell hatching eggs, Craigslist could work, but it's definitely not as easy as eating eggs. You can deliver eating eggs to local businesses and try to get a corporate account that way. Again, that's for eating eggs. For hatching eggs, you know, you could do a post on Facebook, you know, get your name out. It's really hard to answer. If anyone has questions about selling or their business, if you can give me specifics on what the goal is or what you're doing or things like that, or where you want to go, I could help more that way. But it really depends on what market you're looking for. You know, are you looking for reptile? Are you looking to sell for feeders or eating eggs or hatching eggs or chicks? I mean, there's a lot of avenues. It's kind of like Bubba Gump Shrimp, you know, from Forrest Gump. There's just so many. So it's really hard to say what would work best for you and what you're looking to do. Sorry, but if you guys can give me a little bit more information on that, then I could probably help a little bit better. Jacob says, just curious, what do your corporate accounts do with quail? What do your corporate accounts do with quail? Our corporate accounts are usually for... I've got different corporate accounts. I've got Falconer corporate accounts, which we sell frozen males to. So that's for consumption for falconers, you know, eagles, hawks, I don't know, other stuff. A couple wildlife reserves as well. So we have that for males. We really don't butcher anymore because the falconers kind of took over, and it's much easier to cull and freeze rather than butcher. So we really don't butcher anymore. And then we've got corporate accounts for eating eggs, but they're very large accounts, which is why we still do those. We really don't do eating eggs anymore for anyone else, except for the ones that were grandfathered in. So we've got a bunch of corporate accounts for those as well. And then we have a couple corporate accounts for chicks. And what we do is we send them the hatching eggs, or we'll hatch out here and do a custom hatch, and they'll pick up. But typically, they're kind of far away, so the chicks don't do so well in the ride. So typically, we'll just give them the hatching eggs. So we have corporate accounts. Long story short, we've got corporate accounts for hatching eggs, adult males, and eating eggs, if that answers the question. Betta says, oh, hi, from South Jersey. Welcome, my 7-year-old helper is watching too. That is wonderful and welcome, and I hope that you're enjoying yourself. I had 4 out of 10 hatch, 1 died 1 day later, so many mistakes made. 4 out of 10 hatch. Did you get them locally, or were they yours? Rhubarb 789, if you're still on. 1 died 1 day later. Yeah, if you can give me a little bit more information. Brent says, had a 50% hatch rate with your silver Schofield eggs. It's not awesome, but not awful on shipped eggs. Let's see. Just sold 19 quails for 30 bucks. Not bad, that's great. Betta says it was a laughing face because you were talking about poop when I came on. Oh. That makes a whole lot of sense now. Yeah, sure. Frank says, just wondering, I know you shipped just shy of 500,000 last year. Oh, that's cool. What did I say? 6 to 7? I might be wrong then. Just shy. Oh no, that's a little over 200,000 more. Yeah. I'm still gonna stick with the 6 to 700,000. I like it. Well, not talking to me. Thank you, not talking to me. Great tip, Zach. That is what I had in mind when I get my flock established. That's great. Oh, you are still on. Great, Don. Can you let me know? I don't know. Whatever you want to do. You probably text me and I just didn't see it yet. But if you can let me know, even on here if you want, if you're still on, what were you wanting to do with the wilds and the scarlets? Because that was a question I had. But I didn't get to all the questions, and you've been busy putting out fires today, and I've been busy not with as important stuff. Sorry. Verna says, great breeding tip, Zach. Need to get me another Winola Ranch cage. LOL. Absolutely. I love those things. Lexus L says, how to stop hatching deformed chicks. I always get some die of weak legs in development, very heartbroken. Sure. Could be a couple different things. If you're still on, Lexus L, why don't you let me know? We'll take your last hatch. What was your temperature? What was your humidity? And what days did they hatch? What day did they start to hatch? And what day did they stop hatching? If you can give me that information, I could probably help you out a little bit more. Don't release in the wild, it's cruel. I agree, 100%. Mr. Not Important, fresh grass. Yes, they do like that. Frank says, how do you weigh so many? One at a time. One at a time. I don't weigh by myself. I usually, sometimes it's me, George, and Jenna. The past couple times, well, no. Last time we did the jumbos, it was me and George. The time before that was me and Jenna. So, yeah, it's not a one-person job because we're usually weighing about 500. And on those days that I weigh and sex out and move cages, I don't get on my phone because I don't trust myself because it's very stressful, frustrating, long. continuous. Drives me crazy, but it's got to be done. Patrick says, but in my first batch, put in my first batch of jumbo wilds in last night, eggs are big enough, causing problems going in my hatching trays, and way to breed for little smaller eggs, but still have a 15-ounce or large bird. What? Any way to breed for little smaller eggs, but still have a 15-ounce or larger bird. You know, the egg size matters a little, but not as much as you think. Typically, honestly, the ones that hatch out and seem to thrive and get to about 14 ounces fairly quickly are usually those 10 to 11 ounce egg, or 10 to 11 gram eggs that I put in. Usually the big ones, you know, 13, 14, 15 gram eggs, they'll get to size, just not as rapid. Usually it takes them all 10 weeks. The 10 to 12 gram eggs usually get there about 8 weeks. So egg size is not as important as other people would think as far as the bird size goes. Yeah, you just keep hatching out, and you know, if you're wanting smaller eggs, then you would do the opposite. So, you know, if you're wanting larger eggs, then you would breed for larger eggs. So you would only incubate the larger eggs and use the smaller eggs for something else. If you're wanting smaller eggs, you would do the opposite. You wouldn't incubate the larger eggs, you would incubate the smaller eggs. Susie says, brain fart. You were much too young for that to happen, Zach. Oh. Obviously, you have not watched plenty of these YouTube videos yet, because I get brain farts at least 3 times a session. It's pretty bad. Not talking to me. Frank says, awesome breeding tip. Well, thanks. Rich Ross says, so we could place an order and pick it up then. Yes, that is correct. Usually takes about a week to get the order together, but obviously you could just text me. I can you know, put you on the ship list, and then you could either pay cash or I can send you an invoice and let you know when the order's ready. I'm gonna say gazelle green, or it could be Giselle's green. I'm gonna say gazelle. Hi there from Australia. Welcome. I'm having issues with one of my quails, female, being picked on by other quails. One male and one female. Are you ratios incorrect? Should I get more females? I'm having issues with one of my quail being picked on by... Well, we recommend a 5 hen to 1 male ratio. If you don't have a 5 to 1 ratio, there will be picking on. Not necessarily aggressiveness, but more of overbreeding, I guess I would say. So yeah, I would definitely check your ratio, which would be 5 to 1 is what we recommend. You could do a 4 to 1. They'll be beat up a little bit. 5 to 1 works out perfect, in my opinion. And then I recommend, if they're jumbos, you do 3 quail per square foot. If they're standard size, then I would do 3.5 quail per square foot. If both of those are correct, Miss Green from Australia, then let me know and we can talk about it a little bit more, but I would check those 2 things first. Michael says that link is about very interested in free food source for life. Oh, okay. Never mind. Not talking to me. Herman says, hey, Zach, Herman from Piqua, welcome. Brent says, we are getting around 120 eggs a week at the moment. That's great. Just was wondering how to get my name out there. Mainly looking to sell hatching eggs, but eating eggs and reptiles is another way we are looking at. Okay. Well, you want to get involved with the community. One thing that we did... Oh, this chair is really starting to not be comfy anymore. One thing that we did was we started going to reptile shows. Got our name out there. And we sold a bunch of our males to reptiles for a while. Obviously, they don't buy a lot. You know, they're only buying 3, 5, 10 of them at a time. And we were having a lot of them. But that reptile, the reptile leads, did sell a bunch of our eggs for a while. And then because we went to the reptile shows during the weekend, that one of those people, one of our contacts, introduced us to a wildlife reserve. So we started working with them, which we've worked with here and there, but usually they buy like 1,000 at one time, and then we don't hear from them for a year and a half, 2 years. But they gave us a contact for the Ohio Association Falconry, or Ohio Falconry Association. I can't remember what it's called. So we've been working with them now, and they take a lot of our males. And then they got in contact with the Michigan Falconry Association. Can't remember what it's called. And then they buy some. And so contacts are very important. So getting out there is very important. And a tip about selling is sell the benefits. You need to sell the benefits, and you need to sell yourself, and everything else will fall into place. I truly believe that, I believe that I do the very best I can to give you the best product that I can. I really believe that. So I want to portray that. See what I'm saying? With that, I believe that we have a very high standard, healthy quail that you can purchase. So I want to sell that. I believe truly that Coturnix quail is a strong, independent, self-sufficient way to get into. That's pretty easy, you know. So a lot of backyard farms, backyard homesteads, a lot of people that live in the city that just want to be a little self-sufficient, feel a little bit better about things. I think it's perfect for everybody, and I really believe that. And I've tried to relay that and explain that throughout the years. Get your name out there. Go to things that, go to reptile shows, get your name out there. Even if, I remember going to the first couple of reptile shows, and I think we were making just enough money to pay for the table. So literally we were spending the whole day not making any money except for the table. But those contacts have came in really handy, because we have sold, I would guess, 10,000 plus frozen males in the past couple of years to falconers that we would not have found if it wasn't for that chain of events. So again, put the profitability and your time aside at first, and you got to put in the love and work into it at the beginning. And that's, making contacts, finding out what people want, why they want it, using that. So the reptile world, I don't know of any city in the world that doesn't have a reptile show at least once a month. As far as eating eggs, absolutely make some business cards, hand them out to local businesses for free, and say, here's a sample. It's locally grown. It's freshly sourced here in your city, wherever that is. And we'd love to be able to work with you. Quail eggs are smaller than chicken eggs, but they're so much healthier for you. And at this time, in this society, health is a very important thing. And, a lot of people enjoy helping out the local businesses and local farmers and local, produce and things like that. And so, you can look really good doing this, sell them on why they should use you. I'm very reliable, whatever you need, I'm right down the road. I'll be able to help out anytime you can, whatever. But that would be my best advice for that. Richard says, hi, Zach. Richard from Orange, Texas. Welcome. Quail Keeper says, hi, from Southeast Texas. Welcome. They were my eggs. Cheap incubator. I can't get the humidity stabilized. They hatched on day 15. Too hot? Yes, it is too hot. Correct. I wish you the best. If you want to make an incubator, I would suggest going to Coturnix Corner YouTube channel and watching how he built his. A lot of people have great success with that, building their own. If you don't have that skill set, then I recommend you going on Facebook. go to newbie quail lovers and post the question on what kind of incubators have good success. You know, what do you use? What do you recommend? On that Facebook group, Newbie Quail Lovers, you will get a lot of feedback from people that know what you're talking about, are doing the same thing, and can share a lot with you. Betta says, do you have an estimate for jumbo availability? Great question. Jumbo Wilds and Jumbo White Wings will be back on our website Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Richard says, do they have a color of black? I seen one on Terry's site and it was beautiful. Can you help? I've seen pictures of black, and the jury is still out. To me, they really look like Graufies, but I do not have them, so I don't know. I know our Tibetans hatch out black, but they do get a little bit lighter. They're not black. They are dark. They're the darkest ones we have. Kind of. Graufies are pretty black. But there's going to be a little bit of feather patterning with them. It's just a little, with like a grayish tint. And the pictures that I've seen when I will zoom in, and again, it's a picture, so it's hard to say. They really look like Graufies to me. But I don't know that for sure. Liam says, my 7-year-old, Liam, my 7-year-old, what's the average weight for quail? Very good question. They all average a little bit different. I was told a long time ago from other breeders that the average standard quail was 7 to 9 ounces. I'm sorry, 7 to 8 ounces. So I'm going to go with that. Oops, sorry. So I'm going to go with that, but on average, I would say on our standard colors, they probably average around 9 ounces. I would say 9 ounces as far as what I have experienced and what I have researched. But that's all I got. You answered most questions, Zane. I'll get with you in a day or two, and we'll figure things out. Thanks again. Not a problem, Don. Hello from North Central Ohio. Welcome. Now that the weather is cooling off, I am noticing my quail are molting. Is this a normal seasonal cycle like it is with my chickens? It can be, yeah, usually. It also can be an age thing, but sometimes it's the weather thing as well. Comfrey greens, insects, mealworms. Oh, not talking to me. Sorry. Let's see. My incubator stays at 37 to 38 degrees Celsius. Both hatches begin around day 16, 17. The last hatch most were killed in heat wave in California. Both has deformed chick, most golden Italian. Not sure about humidity. 37 to 38. Why does that sound off to me? I can't Google anything right now. Can anybody tell me what 37 to 38 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit? And also, Lexus, what was your humidity during incubation and during lockdown? Frank says, why do people pay so much for quail eating eggs? I've seen them at $5 a dozen. It's really on your market. I know people that sell them for $9 a dozen in close to Washington, D.C., some places in New York, some places in California. It just depends. Here, there's no way I would ever sell any eating eggs ever for $9 a dozen, or frankly for $5 a dozen. That is not my. That's not my market. So it really depends on the market that you're in. Let's see. Excellent. Thank you. That was very helpful. That's great. I don't remember, but I'm glad I could help. Not talking to me. Not talking to me. Not talking to me. Not talking to me. You guys are just going on and on. That's great. All right. Thanks, man. Heading out. Okay. Good luck. LDS Prepper says, Zach, what price would you recommend selling frozen males for? That kind of goes into what I was just talking about. It's really a market thing. If it's just a falconer picking up, 10, I do bags of 10. So you can buy bags of 10 frozen quail. If you're packing up, 2 bags, they're $3 a piece. My corporate accounts get them for $2 a piece, but they buy a certain amount throughout the year and things like that. So that's what I do. But if you can get more, great. I don't. My market is really, honestly, my market is around a $2 to $3 average, and I butcher them at 6 weeks old. That's what I do. Sometimes older. It really depends. You know, if it's a bunch of males that I had left over from a hatch that we sold all the hens, and I'm not using those for breeding, then I will butcher them at 6 weeks old. And then extra males from a breeding program, obviously they're going to be between 8 and 10 weeks old. But that's my market. Again, your market could be a little bit different. I would test it out. The best thing to do if you have extra males, which was one of the hardest things that we've done, is call the association in your area, you know, Falconer Association, drop some off. I mean, it can't hurt. That's advertising, that's marketing, you got to give a little to get a little, right? So drop some off and say, hey, you know, I just wanted to get you guys some input on this. So, you know, here's 20 males I just butchered, and they're free. Here's my card if you like them. But if you can give me any feedback at all, I greatly appreciate it. And they might say, hey, they were a little small. Can you grow them out a little bit bigger? They were a little big. Can you grow them out a little bit smaller? You know, hey, could you butcher in a different way? Or they were perfect. How much are you selling them for? And, you know, if you trust the person and you're trying to give information, just say, you know, I need a certain amount, but could you tell me what you would be interested in doing it for? Well, I'd be interested in $2. All right, well, I was thinking 3. Do you think 3's high? Yeah, 3's a little high. All right. Would you consider 250? You could probably get by with 250. All right, great. How we did it was I said, you know what, if you can give me feedback and you're interested in buying all year, I tell you what, I'll sell them to you for $2 a piece if you can give me feedback and refer people to us, and they're $3 a piece otherwise. You went great. So we talked about it, and he's given us a lot of feedback. We call them a different way now and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I would recommend with that. Hopefully that helps, I hope. Your live stream is a good way to get a name out, and I had a new customer this week watch one of your streams and heard my name shout out and told me, so it was very cool. That's great. Congratulations, Patrick. Absolutely not talking to me again. Richard says, okay, thanks, Zach. Not a problem. Hilltop says, hey, Zach, don't have a specific question this week, surprisingly. I think I'm just tired and my brain is not working. Just wanted to say hi, and I hope all is well. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you get some rest. Carolyn says, do you just call and freeze the males you sell for feed whole or gut them also? We do not gut, we sell them whole. I actually had a guy come out, and I used to break their necks and then, you know, kind of drain them out a little and then put them in bags. And, you know, the bags would always get a little bit bloody. I'm not the cleanest person in the world when it comes to that. And he was like, you know, could we make it more appealing so that when I take them to the conferences, you know, they don't look so bad? And I'm like, So we tried a couple different techniques out, and now I can call a male like that. It will die within about 10 seconds. There's no moving around after that. No blood. And it's literally in bag. Like, it's super fast. And that was just him expressing a concern and us working through it. So having contacts and people that you trust that want to work with you is absolutely amazing. Loving life at home is 90. Okay, so 98 to 100. Okay, thank you very much. So the temperature was right. If you could let me know what the hatch or the percentages, gosh darn it. If you could let me know what the humidity was for the first 14 days and during lockdown, that would probably help me a lot, Lexus. I don't think you've answered that, no. Lynn says, hi from Mississippi, welcome. Rose Cold Rake Heather from Northeast Ohio, welcome. Carlos says, Zach, can I trim my birds' beaks? I would highly recommend not doing that. They don't need their beaks trimmed. Vernon, how do you, oh, nope, not talking to me. Not talking to me again. Foggy Forest Farm says, I've been dealing with males that are mating aggressively with the female in the breeding cage to the point they're bloody and wounded. How do you deal with that? If I had to guess, with not having all the details, I would assume it's a bad ratio. I recommend a 5-to-1 ratio. A lot of people will do like 3-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1. They're just gonna overbreed. It's not really an aggression thing. It's just over and over and over. And then, you know, it's gonna be a scalped head and things like that. You know, feathers missing on the back and they just starting to look bad, which is a big reason why I recommend a 5-to-1 ratio. So I would check that out first. Jacob says, do you mark any quail in your program with bands or anything? Sometimes we do. I really try not to use them just because they keep growing and I don't want their feet to get hurt. So if it's a research cage, then yes, because I'm literally in the cage every week. But typically I don't. Typically we'll mark them some other way, whether it's, I would say the most often way we do, or the most used technique that we use is nail polish. Let's see, just curious, your falconers, do the birds still have feathers? Yes, they do. Are you dislocating the neck of the clean calls? I am. Zach, when you call a male with no blood, is that because you are breaking the neck but not removing the head? Also correct. It's really hard to say, so I guess I could see the problem is if I show it, then YouTube is going to block it or you know, flag it. Plus a lot of people don't like that stuff. But if you take a quail, you're gonna let's see. Yeah, okay. So you have the quail's body in your hand. You're gonna take your index finger on the bottom of their neck. You're gonna take their thumb on the top of their head. You're gonna pull, right, until you start feeling pressure, because they're kind of stretchy at first. So you can do this and there's nothing. Once you get to a kind of a stress, then you want to stop for a second, right? So quickly, and I love this technique because literally they die almost instantly with no flopping around. I mean, it's great. So you're gonna pull and then pinch. You're gonna put your index thumb or your index finger up and put your thumb down. You're gonna feel a little bone knot, and you literally want your thumb to go right in between there. That literally dislocates them immediately. No blood, everything stays intact, and they look amazing. They're not flopping around. So they're not injuring themselves or scratching things or whatever. Be careful. It will take you a few times because you could pull too hard and break the skin. It took me a while, but I've got it down pat now. And I've showed other people how to do it, and they're doing great with it as well. But it's worked out great for us. What's your bloodless kill method for feeder? Cervical. Oh, well, I just explained it. I hope. I tell you what, if you're interested, please remind me at the beginning of next week's video. I will grab a male, and at the very end of the video, I will announce that I'm doing it, so anybody that doesn't want to watch it can get off, and we'll do it at the very end of the video if you can, if you can remind me, and I'll get that next week. I did take care of all the males this week, so I would have to go find one, and I'm not going to do that right now. But if you remind me next week, I'll be happy to do it at the very beginning, very end of the video. Hello from Texas. Sorry I was late. Not a problem. I have a grow out pen that I've been finding bloody or beaten up birds. The birds are going to be 6 weeks this week. And any suggestions? My husband did notice that most of the hurt birds are white. It looks like you have an aggressor, and I would try to find that aggressor. It could be an overcrowding issue. Kind of hard for an overcrowding if they're only 6 weeks old. I would assume you have an aggressor. Build Terry. Oh, not talking to me. Don't use the bottom of the ink. I'm not talking to me. I can help with falconers. If anyone has questions, what they might look for. Well, there you go. Frank can help out. If you have any questions, you can contact him. Foggy Forest Farm says, I'm keeping 4-to-1 ratio. They are in the Winola Ranch breeding cage. I feel like they are maxed out for space, or should I go to 5-to-1 in this setup? I would definitely do a 5-to-1 in that setup. I would do a 3.5 quail per square foot ratio. I know some people, I don't know how or why, but I know some people have 2 sets in each one of those little cages. So they're doing 10, or yeah, they're doing 10 hens and 2 males in one of those little areas, and no, even a 5-to-1. You know, if you're using that cage, you might want to try a 4-to-1. Maybe switch out the male. Maybe the male's the problem. Maybe try that first. If it happens more, then I would do a 5-to-1. I would switch out the male before I do anything else, would be my recommendation. I'm almost done building my hitches. For my first hatch ever, should I wait till spring to order and hatch? You hatch whenever you're ready. Like I said, our ship rate really doesn't go down, and we hatch out quail. We ship eggs all year long. We hatch out all year long. It's really not that big of a difference. I mean, you got to change some things, but as long as you're willing to adapt to the weather, it's not an issue at all. How would I find an aggressor? They don't seem aggressive when I'm around. Well, if you've got a little doggy crate, I would probably put a couple in there for the night, and see if there are any aggressors out of there. See if any of them get beat up, and then look in the other cage. If you still see issues, then put those back in and grab some more and put in there, and kind of a process of elimination would be one suggestion. Is 30 perfect turkey? Is 30, I'm going to say, protein turkey feed good for both my grow out males and laying hens? I have jumbo wilds. I don't recommend 30 protein for layers. I recommend 15 to 80% protein for layers, because you need a 3.5% calcium for the egg production. Faye says, yes, please show Bloodless cull next week. Absolutely, remind me at the beginning of the video, or if someone's on at the beginning of the video next week, please remind me. I will make myself a note now, and we will do it next week if you guys are asking. Let's see, Christy says, hey from Australia, welcome. I just grab a chair and glass of tea, sit back and watch. You will find the culprit. Works for me. Also, that's worked for me in the past as well. I have 12 hens. How many males should you recommend? I would do 2. I would do 2. I've done it 2 ways. I would do 2, or I would find the 3, depending on what you're doing. Oh, you said, if you're not doing jumbos, if you're doing standard quail, if you find the smallest 3 males, that might work. Because usually the smaller males won't be able to be aggressive to the hens, because the hens will put the males in check. I've done that before and it's worked, but you kind of got to stay on top of it. Either way, I would say just put 2 males in there. You'll sacrifice a little bit of the fertility. But if you could find 3 small males, or even 2 males and 1, no, you don't want to do that. 3 small males or 2 average males or large males would be the 2 suggestions. Susie says 1 male to 5 hens. Yes, that's correct. And that is all the questions, which is pretty good because I'm at 5% battery left, which is annoying because I was at 98 when we started, so that's stupid. Everyone, I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something. I hope I didn't bore you to death. And we had some great numbers this week for the most part with our hatches, so that is absolutely amazing. I'm very excited about that. You have jumbos. I would do 2. 2 males is what I would do. I wouldn't do small males. That would be awful. So 2 males to the is what I would do. Do the jumbo wilds poop go through the flooring easily? Yeah. Wonderful live feed, Zach. Thank you very much tonight, everyone. Absolutely. Guys, thank you very, very much. Again, if you are not a subscriber to this channel, please do so, because I do have a day this week planned out of my day to just do some YouTube videos to try to get those caught up. I know to be honest, a lot of things have been going on lately, and I just haven't had the time. I'm trying. I'm getting caught up. This week's goal was to get texts and emails or texts and messages caught up, and state caught up, and auctions this weekend. This week is going to be emails fixed. I don't know what's going on with that, but I've got someone out coming out tomorrow. So emails and a YouTube video, a couple YouTube videos planned for this week. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss those. I will be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to see how I call the males for falconers, please remind me at the beginning of the video. I did leave myself a note, and I should have a male ready. And again, thank you for your support and the likes. Thank you for hanging in there and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you learned something. And everybody, stay safe. And I hope that I will see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really do enjoy our Q&As together and hanging out with you and hearing feedback and trying to answer questions. And I really appreciate everybody out there. So thank you very much. We will see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, stay safe and have a great night.